Going on? Legion here playing more RuneScape Dragonwilds. Welcome to our daily gaming XP grind, episode 10, and we're going to be doing something slightly the same and a little bit different all at the same time. So what we're going to be focusing on today is I've actually been spending quite a bit of time at my other base, sort of picking up things off the ground and sort of gathering materials. So you're going to see a lot of wool thread here, and what we want to do is essentially turn this into final resources. Another thing is we were sort of debating whether or not we were going to be um, making gear or not. But I think once these items are at their final stage, the only way to really get XP is to sort of turn them into gear. And we haven't really done that because I felt like it wasn't a lot of XP. But if I don't do it, then essentially what are we doing, right? We're sort of just collecting items and stacking a ridiculous amount, and it's not really going to benefit us. So I don't think that quite makes sense. So I think we're going to start the process of actually doing that now. So I've got something pretty cool I'm working on. I'm not quite ready to show you guys, but as far as uh, I sort of want to see really quick here what exactly I think I'm going to be putting the course animal fur inside the spinning wheel, and if that's the case, then I believe it is. Then I can actually create another secondary item that's going to be very important in what we're trying to do. So let's go ahead and go here. So that's right. So it just makes course thread, which we're going to need a lot of, as what we're going to be doing is making gear. So let's go ahead and grab all the course thread that we do have. I thought we had a little bit more than that, but we did use some on a project that we're working on, so we don't quite have as much. But we do have a lot of ash logs, so let's go ahead and drop all those inside the kilns really quick. I can't seem to find them. Here we go. So there's a bunch of them. Actually, that's not what we're going to do, right? Because we actually put those inside the sawmills. So it looks like there's already quite a bit in here from when I logged out last time. And so we're going to be making a ridiculous amount of ash planks. So let's go ahead and do that. I feel like I might have accidentally said oak logs at one point. I'm not even sure, but regardless, it doesn't really matter. So let's take those and take these. And it's not quite a full inventory or anything, so we're not going to be able to get this ridiculous amount that we want to inside there, but that's okay because we've been focusing on a lot of things since we were on the game last. And as I said, I'm not quite ready to discuss that or show that to you guys, but I think it'll be well worth the wait, and it's definitely tied into what we're doing here. So we're still enjoying the visual graphics from the new Magic update. I think it's pretty cool, the defensive structures, but they really only added two, so I wish they would have added a little bit more. I think that would have been pretty cool. So it's just sort of, it is what it is, and we've got to be grateful for that, right? And a Magic, I guess I waited because I was sort of doing things, and um, I'm trying to find something to cure really quick because we're actually about to level up in magic again. We haven't been focusing as much on magic as I thought we would. We're obviously definitely going to be leveling it up, but we're sort of focusing on a lot of different things all at once. So there we go, magic leveled up. So we are now level 33 in magic, and it's kind of interesting because I don't really even think you needed to go and get those tomes really, right? As it seems like it's pretty easy to get the XP. So yeah, I'm not sure how time consuming it was when people were going to do that. So, anyways, let's go ahead and decide what we're going to do next. We really haven't been killing a lot of sheep and ram. We've been focusing a lot on the wool. So I wish I just had wool in here. It would be a lot easier. I could just take it out. So I think we're actually going to take these ash logs out of here to keep our inventory full. And the reason for that is I sort of want to pick up all of it at once it's done, to get a bulk of XP. But you can see there's already a ridiculous amount here. And I think I like the look of it. I like this ridiculously large amount of things on the ground that need to be picked up. So we're in pretty good shape as far as weight, even putting all these here. So I think we're going to be able to pick up all of it at once if we just um, do this right. So uh, let's finish this up, and then I know we also talked about potentially discussing our XP at the beginning of a video. Um, so we kind of already started off that by not doing it, but we can go ahead and show you guys right now if you want. So we've got attack at 248,000, wood cutting at 728,000. We've got construction at 1,063,000, rune crafting at 331,000, magic at 7,332, mining at 3.8 million, artisan at 2,584,000, and cooking at 91,000. So there's not been a lot of progress since last video, because obviously we weren't really necessarily skilling um, and since the last time I made episode 9. It's been primarily trying to get situated so that way when I came back I would be in a position so that way I could start doing something new. And in order to do that, I'm going to need a lot of coarse thread. So I don't, the only way to do that is to open up a ton of birds' nests, which I've told you guys before I'm against. But I think since I'm going to be doing these videos daily, I don't think it's really going to hurt to open them, as because we're just going to have a ridiculous amount anyway. So I think we will start opening a little bit of them, and unfortunately this is going to be a little bit time consuming to open up all these, but I think it's going to be well worth it once you see the project that we're working on, and it all sort of works towards the same thing. So I'm looking in this chest right here. I don't see a lot of food really, so certain things just take a lot more time. We are going to drop one more set of um wool thread inside the spinning wheel. I'm sorry, inside the looms, and then we're gonna drop all this coarse animal fur inside the spinning wheel, is what I meant to say. And then from there, we are going to leave and go mine for a little bit, which, if I'm being 100% honest, I'm not necessarily excited about it, but that's okay. So it's just sort of how it is. So let's drop all this in here, put this here. We've got to get a little bit more flax too. But I guess before we go mining, we'll show you guys our resource warehouse. So we're starting to really put a lot of chests in here, and I'm not going to show you guys that right now, as for time constraints, I want to start mining. So we will start by going right here and grabbing some ore. So if you're wondering why there's lights right here, these sort of lanterns, it's because I placed them here. Because through my almost 4 million mining XP, it's dark out here sometimes. So I wanted to make sure that I was going to have enough light to do all this efficiently and be able to see what I was doing. So I know we've discussed this a little bit, where you've got this underground cavern where you're going to have some more iron ore. You can also go where the vault is out here in this region, but ultimately it's really dark in there, and I meant to actually bring some more coarse animal fur so I could put some lighting in there, as I don't really like doing this sort of things in the dark. So definitely something to keep in my mind if I can remember, but there's always so much to remember, so I easily forget. But basically this is what it looks like. I mean, if you're going to be grinding XP, or even and I'm not sure what 99 level 99 is going to require. So they did say it wasn't going to be 12 million XP, which totally makes sense, as this is a survival game. So I'm not quite sure what's going to be required, but I'm pretty sure we already have what would be required to reach level 99. I think 4 million is pretty fair, since, I mean, if you really want to be, if I'm going to be quite honest, I spent a ridiculous amount of time already mining in this game. So I don't really think that it would be realistic to think that somebody would put in the hours that I've done mining just to obtain level 99. But then again, I don't know. I'm not Jagex. It's not my game, so I just play it. But I don't know if 4 million is where it's at. But then again, you got to think the game's going to be around quite a long time. But when you think about it, they probably only think you're going to make maybe 1 to 2 sets of gear, and then you're going to repair your gear. So it's not like you would need 100 sets of armor. So in their eyes, I'm trying to think of it from that standpoint because it's not an MMO, and it's not the traditional let's get to 100 million XP. It's more so let's get enough so we can play the game and be successful and survive. So I've just taken a different approach to it because I'm so used to the old RuneScape, and I really wanted this to be a focus for me to sort of reach level 99 and all these different skills that are going to be coming to the game. So I'm very interested to see what they decide will be the level XP amount that we will need to reach 99. But I'm pretty sure I won't even be seeing this for a very long time. I mean, I would estimate by the year like 2027 or 8, that's when we'll be able to reach level 99, which is going to be crazy. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Essentially, you're telling me I potentially might have to wait 2 years to reach level 99, which that's kind of crazy if you think about it. Potentially a 3 year wait just so I can say I'm max. So through all this time, I mean, hopefully I continue to make videos daily. I mean, obviously try to stay in good health and such, but I think ultimately the biggest things are going to be um, constant updates to the game will help with that a lot because obviously people want to be entertained and people want to be what is it sort of drawn into the game with the content that they're making. So hopefully everything goes smooth. Hopefully they can keep on their sort of promise to not have to reset character XP because I was thinking about that a little bit too. And for whatever reason, if they did have to reset XP, I don't think I could redo it all again because at that point I think it would just be playing the game for the aspect of a survival game. Because part of the reason I'm doing this is because I'm actually very interested in sort of maxing out in the game. Which I guess even at 4 million XP, if you needed that amount, I don't really think just casually playing the game you could reach that amount of XP. I mean, look how long it takes to get XP when you're woodcutting. So that's wild. I mean, if I wasn't a builder, right, before they nerf Splinter, if I wasn't a builder, I just don't see it. I don't see it happening. It just doesn't make sense to me. How in the world, without super grinding, are you going to get there? Because if it is in fact a survival game, why would you have 100 million XP be the cap? I mean, I don't see any world where you would be spending that much time on this game that you would be able to achieve that. That's wild. So I know that they implemented a couple different things, and even though it is a survival game, I think they sort of did want to gear it toward people who enjoy grinding. So I'm glad the game has the grind XP aspect. There's our Roman Colosseum. We have to wait to load in, which is not pleasant, I can assure you. But as I delete more and more over here, none of my big projects, but little things here and there, it should help slightly. Nothing crazy as far as that, but this sucks. I'm sort of just stuck. Can't do anything, but at least I can talk. So I mean, hopefully we have our new mic supposed to be coming in the mail, and we're really excited about that, as it's more of an more authentic one. So as far as our voice and just quality, it should be a lot better. Because right now we've got to do lots of editing with that, and we don't really mind as it's necessary. So, but we want to make sure that we're giving the best quality content that we can, and we want you guys to enjoy it. So that's a big part of this, honestly. So still waiting to load. So this is just sort of a warning for anybody who wants to go and build some ridiculous stuff. This is what you can expect. Basically your life on hold while you wait and wait some more. So it's so ridiculous. At least the archer's not here that spawns. There's usually an archer, but I do have my magic equipped, so I would just kill him essentially. But things that can go wrong when you're. Oh, wow, he just didn't spawn in. I guess he's been there the whole time. Kind of weird. But yeah, things that can go wrong when you're stuck in the air like that, or quite a bit actually. If you get hunted and you're sort of stuck in the air, you really got nowhere to block. So that could be really bad. And if they destroy the little portal, the lodestone, then you essentially might have to walk back, depending on how far that is. I'm not sure for you, but look at that, 78 iron ore. So that's quite nice to look at. And we don't want to take everything, as we've already got most of those. I can't wait for more recipes to come to the game. Um, that will be really neat. Excited about that. So let's go ahead and mine some more of this. Ultimately, I believe iron and gold and silver are the best XP for mining in the game. The only downside to that, and we're not even using mining potions right now, what we should be, but the only downside to that is that you have to have anti-poison potions currently active. So that's why I don't usually go over there too often. But since we are working on mining right now, I think we're going to go do that really quick. And it's also sort of a little bit more of a hassle. And, while we're on the topic of hassle, actually, I guess it would be, oh my gosh, he scared me. But anyway, while we're on the topic of hassle, I think it's important to note that if you read the new updates that are going to be coming out next year, I think it's crazy. Basically, areas where you have to stay in the shade, um, and little mechanics like that. So you're going to get punished when you're essentially exposed to certain things. So I think that's not going to be that fun. I'm fairly certain it's going to be atrocious. So that's not necessarily something I'm looking forward to, but then again, it's a mechanic of the game. And I'm not sure if that was the region that's going to have runite ore, but it would make sense, as obviously you want it, you're going to have to earn it. So, but look at this mining XP, it's ridiculous. This is the one little rock that sort of irritates me right up there. It's like you got to position yourself just right to make sure you're going to hit it with your swing. And then there's that one down there. So then I always fall. I almost want to leave it. It's not even worth it. We're done with that one. So let's go over here. But lodestones make the game so much easier. So much more sort of travelable. But just got to get, I mean, really, we're just trying to reach 4 million mining XP. I think that might be the cutoff for mining until a new ore comes to the game. So I think that's sort of going to be our goal. And obviously, it's important to have goals, right? You want to aim towards something. So I think once we get 4 million mining XP, then we can aim for. It's so tough for me right now. I want these logs. But once you get 4 million, I mean, yes. So once I've got 4 million mining XP, and then I'll go for artisan, and then I'm gonna sort of start picking different skills that I'll heavily focus on, which will bring me a lot of other resources. So that way, I can use those or just sort of make huge stockpiles of them. I'm not really necessarily worried about it after that point, but I think 4 million is going to be the goal. But obviously it's going to be a little bit tough because I make videos daily, right? So you're not going to sit there and watch me mine rune essence day in and day out. I mean, so I suppose if you enjoy the content, you might, but I think that's a little bit wild. So I think it's going to be important to strategically do it so that way we leave enough so we can do multiple skills in a day. As 4 million XP to me seems pretty realistic in the regard of spacing things out and what we might need to sort of that being our end goal temporarily, because I don't know what max is. So I think it's going to be important to sort of split and what is it? I'm trying to think. My gosh, sort of just create a mark we want to reach. And I think that's a good point. 4 million XP, some of the skills, it's not going to happen. Like cooking, definitely not going to happen. Magic, not going to happen. Attack, I mean, down the road, sure. Like once there's more powerful creatures that give more XP. So some of the stuff won't be possible. And but I think everything will sort of tie in together. I think it'll all work together really nicely. And September 9th, we've got range coming to the game. And I haven't really looked at else what we're going to be getting on September 9th, but I'm sure there's going to be plenty of stuff to keep us busy and keep you guys busy. And so that way we can all keep enjoying RuneScape Dragonwilds and the amazing game that it is. So, so crazy, those graphics. Just looking at this little thorn bush right here, it's crazy. I'm going to probably go in the dungeon, as I really don't sort of want to, but there is a chest in here and a vault core. So let's go ahead and go inside of here and take a look at what we've got going on. We've got our vault core and a nice little chest. So let's go ahead and use our rock blast in here. But it will be quite exciting to get 4 million XP in mining. I definitely think it's an accomplishment, as we've worked really hard. I mean, that's tough, right? To say the word I worked really hard. I'll just say I've been dedicated, motivated, and persistent. I think that's more fair. And I think that we've kept our eye on the goal, and we've just been putting in time and effort. So I don't want to say we worked hard. I don't think that's correct. But anyways, so let's go ahead and grab the rest of this ore. And I'm mining these just because why not? It's giving me a little bit of rune crafting XP. And I think back at the base we've got a lot of different things sort of on our crafting stations. So that's one thing I don't like, is when you accidentally click too many times and you're already in mid swing and then you sort of just have to wait, which is really not that big of a deal. But I suppose once you've played as long as I have, you start complaining. Inevitable, so it's not really that big of a deal. So let's go ahead and use our personal chest, and hopefully it's empty. Okay, good. So that way we can put some of this stuff away. And we've got some silver ore. Alright, let's do this. But like I've talked about this before, but one of the things I really, really hope they do is sort of add new types of rune essence nodes. One like potentially ones that are bigger, once you get to different regions. But I've sort of noticed their consistency with the way that they don't really do stuff like that, which actually kind of makes sense. Because if you start putting other resources that are in earlier zones everywhere, then there's really no reason to sort of go back and revisit those spots. And you don't really want completely dead content in the game. I'm pretty sure you're always, going to be able to go back to the beginning area and get flax efficiently, and trees and different things like that. I think the harder the game gets when you go into a more difficult area, sure, you're going to find things, but there's also going to be a threat. They did mention, I think, what was it? The zone that's going to have the Queen Black Dragon? Was it a Cauldra? I believe, I can't remember, but basically that is going to be wicked. Every type of dragon's going to be around, so it's like that doesn't seem safe. So obviously that actually is probably where going to be like the runite ore is. And then once they're done with all that, then they still said the game's got a long way to go. So there's going to be content for years to come, but that's going to be crazy. Just imagine you're trying to get some sort of new tree, and you get there, and then this giant fireball just destroys you and annihilates you because there's a dragon there. And you sort of, are they going to fly? I wonder what that's going to look like. But look at that. All those resources on the ground just for me waiting. So let's go ahead, and I'm trying to think what the purpose of all this was. That's right. So I need more coarse thread. So we don't really have a lot of it. We were mining a little bit. We're going to need more coarse thread. And the only way to really get that is by using our flax. We were trying to save a little bit because we actually wanted to use some of it for potions. But I don't think we're in a position we can really do that right now, as obviously we have an objective that we're trying to reach. Maybe we can pull all this out, sort of put more of these in, and then we'll come back and worry about it. So that way we're still going to be getting XP and working towards our goal. So I think that pretty much, I didn't really count how many I've got, but I think that will pretty much cover it. I'm trying to put heavy stuff in my inventory so I don't instantly pick up all that stuff, but it's not really working out that great. Let's see, put these here, put those there. That should do it. So let's go ahead and put some more of this inside here and just keep getting XP. But yes, range probably gonna be my favorite skill. Um, Sort of with like magic, right? They introduced it. We don't get to use any runes extra other than air and fire. I wish we would have been able to use fire, or maybe I'm sorry, water, or had access to water runes, or be able to use earth spells. I mean, that sort of would have aligned with we're introducing magic into the game. So with range, I'm not going to expect a ridiculous amount, and the reason is because they didn't do a ridiculous amount with magic. So I think it's pretty safe to say that it's going to be quite similar. So I'm not, I'm trying to keep my uh, I guess expectations at a level that makes sense. So that way I'm not disappointed or expecting something entirely different than what I'm actually going to get. So I think that's a pretty fair way to do it, because otherwise you're going to be in a situation where, I mean, I knew right away. I thought to myself, what's this update going to be like? Actually, when I was driving home from work, before I even touched it, I said to myself, I want to make sure my expectations are realistic for this, because I feel like there's a good chance that it's not as epic as everyone might hope, but they did fix graphics, which is amazing, and I love them. So I can't really complain there. They don't let you use all the runes to do spells. They didn't add blood runes. They didn't really do anything with water runes. So I think there's a lot more, like even maybe like an alchemy that allows you to turn one item into something else. But so they could have done a lot more with it. Um, but they've got so much planned for the game, and they're just ultimately, I what can you say other than we're being sort of led into an epic RuneScape adventure. So and as far as kind of going back to range, because I got a little bit off topic, I just want to get XP while I shoot things with range. It would be nice to have some new monsters while I'm fighting, but I will say this. They haven't really added any new monsters to the game, right? But it's not that bad, because when you think about it, once Hollow gets here, we're going to be able to use all the different things to fight with. And yes, obviously we can't use all the different kinds of runes to attack with, but that could change. They could always add that in to the range update, and we just don't know. I just think we have to sort of wait around and see. But plus, they've also got open forums, and they're listening to us, so they want to know what we think. They want to know what we want, and I think that's definitely something in the right direction. Because when a developer basically says, "Tell us what you want, let's vote on it, let's work on it together," just like with Steel, I think what was it? They were going to go right to Mithril, but we voted and we said no, we don't want to do that. We want to sort of have the experience. So they're listening to us. So I think that's really big in a game. You sort of most games you say something and it just falls back down and it's not heard. So I think that's going to be really important. So let's jump in now. What we're going to be doing, we're going to be making a bunch of these. But before I do that, I want to make sure I've got an artisan potion popped, as that's going to be important. So those are going to be making those. Let's go ahead and make some of these. So how many do we want to make? Wow, I guess we don't really get to make a lot of choices because we don't have a lot of the core thread. So we've got two, and we got what? What is that? 927 XP. So this is actually going to be a lot more beneficial than I thought. I could be wrong. Maybe it was only 97 XP. We're going to have to double check on that. But if it was in fact 927, that's going to be amazing. But let's go ahead and make one of those. What is it? 207. So it could have actually been that I was correct and it was 927, but I'm not quite sure. So I suppose we will show you what we're working on, since we're waiting for more thread to be produced. Look at all that wool cloth. Ridiculous. But we're going to be picking that up in a little bit, and we're going to grab all the XP. Probably not going to work on planks today, as I don't feel like there's time to do it. And why not? We'll just save it for next time. It's not really a big deal. And I am very sorry, but I have to run and grab all this flax, as we're going to need it for our course thread. So I've got to grab that. Okay, so let's go ahead and go over here. And this is our project we're going to be working on. Oh, sorry, I've got to grab this. Basically, we're going to be filling all these mannequins with armor. Now, right now, it's not a lot. I mean, it kind of is, I suppose. But we want to essentially build an army. The army, don't know what it's for. Haven't the slightest idea. But I do have some ideas of some cool things I could do with it to sort of add a story to it. But ultimately, the goal, man, it's so hard right now. I see 2 flax on the screen. And now that I'm sort of like really in gear and I'm not building anymore and I'm focused on XP, it is so difficult to just focus. And now everything's XP this, I need that, this, that, this, that. So, but anyway, we're going to be building an army. That's what I decided. I was sort of driving on my way home earlier today, and I decided I'm not going to just let all this stuff sit in chests anymore. I'm going to build an army of basically fully geared mannequins. The only thing I wish is we could put weapons on them. I think that would be really cool because some people have already made a ton of weapons, and now what do you do with it? It just sort of sits. So that's going to be our project as well. I thought it would be cool to be sort of getting all this XP, but then having sort of like a side thing that we do while we do it. So that was really cool for me, and we're really excited about that. So that's going to be something to look forward to, but we're going to need lots of course thread to make this happen. So anyway, guys, let's go ahead and grab all this stuff. This is going to be crazy. Oh, I can't even hold anymore, but we got 7,820 XP. We're also going to be using all this cloth that we've got here to be making armor, but we've got to sort of find out the ones that we can make that make the most sense based on the resources that we have to make that a reality. So let's go back through here and pick up more. Another 7,820 XP. Let's see. We're running out of room over here. Just too much. So we're going to go back over here and pick up some more. And we probably won't be able to hold it all. But basically, what was that? That's almost like 36,000 XP total already in Artisan just from doing all that. And we've still got a lot more wool thread to do. So I'm glad that we finally found out an idea that we like, that we can basically suit up tons of mannequins. I think it'll be a really fun project. We're obviously going to need a lot more flax in order to do that, or coarse animal fur, which definitely takes longer and it wastes on my bird's nest, which I don't really like to do because I still really believe that we're going to be able to use those to get seeds for farming. So I mean, it just makes sense. I mean, it just does. But anyway, so we've only got 2 mannequins suited up, but some of them are going to be a little bit easier to gear, so it's really not that big of a deal. So it's just going to take time, just like everything else. So that's basically our project right now, and that's what we're going to be aimed toward and focusing on. Let's do an XP update. I know we already did one at the beginning of the video, but oh well, whatever, right? So we're not going to talk about attack as we already did. We didn't really do that. We did some rune crafting, 332,000 XP. Magic, we're not going to talk about it. Mining, 3,834,000. So we did get some XP in that. What is it, about 34,000? Artisan, 2.6 million. Got some in there. Didn't get any cooking. So anyway, guys, next time we see you, we'll be talking about episode 11, and we'll be working hard to sort of just get XP and make things interesting for you guys. So thanks for watching. Legion Loot out.